Are you ready for your window shoppers to become paying customers? Ecwid Ecommerce is here to make that happen. We can help you automatically show the exact product visitors saw but didn't purchase on your site wherever they go on Facebook and Instagram using this magic called dynamic Facebook retargeting. To show these ads to your prospects today, sign up in your Ecwid control panel in the marketing section and look for the Facebook remarketing app. This is fully integrated into Ecwid and Facebook and so simple and effective you'll wonder why you hadn't done this sooner. Okay, back to the show.
This is the Ecwid Ecommerce Show with your host, Jesse Ness, along with Richard O'Tay.
Richie, happy Friday.
It's that day again.
Yeah, love it. We get to do another podcast here. And, so Ecwid's been in the news recently. So it's kind of exciting. We got a lot of coverage by TechCrunch and VentureBeat, Mashable, all the big ones. So it's kind of fun. We're going to try to ride that wave a little bit longer.
Yeah, change is happening. I mean, speaking of, you guys changed office too, right? So
we moved an office. Lots of stuff going on here.
We're not going to get to do the happy hour this afternoon.
No, probably not.
All right.
No, got to get back to work here. And because of all this news, we brought in the big gun here. We brought in the VP of Marketing, David Novick. David, how's it going?
Hey, everybody. Nice to be here today on a Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe there's happy hour when we get back to the office. I don't know.
Actually, we'll be talking about that later offline, but I'm thinking 4 o'clock might be pretty good today.
I think that's the way to go. I got to celebrate the news.
Got some wins.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
We're pretty stoked.
Yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, we definitely had some wins here. Dave, so the initiative we're going to talk about and the win we had is we worked really tightly with Google on the AMP for Email initiative. So brought you in here. You've been working closely with this, as has a bunch of people at Ecwid. Maybe you can fill in our audience on some more details on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the hot topic right now, dynamic emails, AMP for email. It's a big deal. It's a little hard to understand, so we'll break it down a little bit for people today. First, let's talk about what the impact of this is. So when you think about Facebook and Instagram and all of these great social platforms and all of the great tools out there, there's nothing bigger than email. There's currently approximately 4 billion global email users. So the scale of what happens in email is just fantastic. It's a funny thing. The scope of email, how many people use it, the workhorse that it's been over the years. Anyway, let's break into AMP a little bit. So for those of you that are not familiar, AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages, and it's basically an open source project that has been led to try to accelerate the adoption of mobile usage and accelerate content to get mobile working better. And as an offshoot of that, with Google leading the charge right now, this email e-commerce piece has just launched. It's a Gmail product. It's through Google Apps. More coming soon, and it's just a really exciting development.
Yeah, and so diving in a little bit deeper on it, the AMP for email is really Google's leading the charge, but obviously a lot of people use Gmail and Google Apps, so that's a big percentage of the emails out there.
Yep.
But other people are going to be applying this as well. But I think the interesting part, you touched on it, is like email hasn't changed in 15 or 20 years. Like Facebook has like become a thing since we started first receiving emails. And what I mean by emails haven't changed is, like you get an email from a company or from your mom, and when that email gets sent, it's sent, and that's it. You can't change, you can't edit. If there's, sometimes, you want to pull back some of those emails you maybe send late at night. But in general, an email is sent, it goes out, and it's done. So dynamic emails basically make that email more of a living thing, more like a web page, if you will. So AMP for Email, Google's pushing this, is basically makes email, it makes it dynamic, I think, in a nutshell.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. So if you think about it, as a digital marketer and e-commerce marketer for a number of years, most of the people in the industry rely very heavily on email. And you hit the nail on the head with it being a static piece. You send it, nothing changes. You can't take it back. Every email marketing person I know is super nervous when they go to hit that send button because that's it. You put it out there and it is out there.
Yeah, for users of MailChimp, they have a little bit of there's a little graphic of this monkey sweating when it's about ready to push the button, and that's what all email marketers go through. Like, you're like, oh man, I checked everything twice, and oh man, I hope I didn't spell anything wrong, and you cross your fingers when you push send. But so dynamic emails is going to do a couple things. I mean, there's a lot of like changes coming in the future, but I think it's best if we walk through an example or two on the podcast here so people can understand exactly what we're talking about. So Pinterest was part of this beta group as well. So when you get an email from Pinterest, it's basically a bunch of pictures on the email, all the pins that Pinterest thinks you'll be interested in because they want to keep engagement. They want people to pin, right? It's Pinterest. So what this means is that Pinterest in an AMP for email world is you can hover over the image and you can click on it and you can immediately pin into your own pin boards. Before AMP for email, you might look at this email and say, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna click in, and you're basically going to Pinterest. So now you're off of email and you're going into Pinterest, and hopefully you're logged in correctly and all that. So with Pinterest, for instance, like it's reducing the amount of clicks there. It makes it so you can be interactive inside of your email. And for like for techie people out there, that might be kind of like an iframe. Yeah, sort of. It's not really an iframe, but it's sort of that idea if that helps people understand what we're talking about. I think there's another example, and actually this isn't even really part of the beta, but just for people that get to grasp what we're talking about. So, we all get all sorts of emails, but let's say you get an email from an airline, right? So you get an airline. I use Delta a lot because I fly back to Minnesota, and it says, hey, Jesse, $99 special flight to Minneapolis, and, buy now, whatever. And I look at my email like 3 days later, and I already know, like, okay, yeah, that's just some sort of teaser rate. It's obviously not there. But what if I could, inside that email, click on it, change the destination, start playing around with the dates and times and stuff, and that price dynamically changes. It's not just a teaser rate. So that's sort of an idea of what dynamic email could be. Another example, kind of quick example, and you can, by the way, you can go take a look at Mashable and TechCrunch and VentureBeat for all this stuff. You can take a look at our blog for this. So like Oyo is I'd say they're kind of like a TripAdvisor, so you can see about destinations and they have ratings inside of their email. So with a dynamic email, you can start clicking on the ratings and rankings and see them inside your email. So you're kind of, in general, you're basically saving a click. You're making email more of a central part of your day, which obviously Google is probably interested in that. No, they have their reasons as well. But I think it opens up all sorts of opportunities in the future where email's definitely going to be changing, and it will not be the same in 20 years. And so we're on the forefront of this. So it's pretty cool time. Yeah,
absolutely. What's interesting is if you think about, we were talking earlier about static emails and how they really can't change. This is the great piece. So we all know business is fast change. The one thing that you can count on in business is change. And so your emails should as well. And that's really the premise behind this whole thing. So with the AMP project allowing for dynamic emails, what you're really going to see is richer content, interactive content. And when you have richer content that is also interactive, you're going to see a higher engagement level with the end users. So when you send emails, when we send emails, they're just going to be a lot more engaging. And that engagement is going to play into higher conversion rates. So as central as email is to most e-commerce platforms right now, I think with the upgrade from static to dynamic, we're going to see this play an even more central role to driving revenue and engagement and loyalty with our brands. So it is a very exciting time.
Yeah, and I was just going to kind of reiterate a couple of things you guys said. What really is going on here is it's about easing the friction. There's change that's always happening, and you're going to have a customer that you started an experience with someone in one particular way, say to your point of the Delta Airlines or something, and they know what you want to do, but the flight status has changed or they sold out or whatever. And a customer could easily be frustrated if they click to go to the other website, they got took out of their email, the other things going on, and you added friction to their life as opposed to ease the friction in their life. And you think of the change in general, whether it's Uber, Lyft, and all these things, it's trying to take friction out of our life. And so, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, that's like Silicon Valley in a nutshell, right? Like they're trying to reduce friction in every way they can, and saving a click or two is like, you know, champagne flutes are clinking. Because,
exactly.
you know.
I mean, and let's be honest, everyone wants you to stay on their platform. So if you can stay inside of Google email, and they want you to, because all of these platforms, whether it's Google or Facebook or any, they're all ad driven. So in some way, shape, or form, they just want you to stay in their ecosystem. So they would rather, if you typed in, you know, Padres game in the middle of a Padres game, they don't want to take you to the Padres website. They'll show you the actual score of the game, right? So easing friction, getting people the answers they want, what they're actually looking for right then, and keeping that dynamic and changing. I mean, it's exactly what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, and as the people listening to the podcast are probably thinking like, okay, well that's great, you know, but what about me? I'm in e-commerce, you know, like how does this affect me, you know? So Dave, how have we been playing with Google here in this particular initiative?
Yeah, I think that's it's good to pull it back home with that. So we're really excited. I mean, we are the first e-commerce platform to offer dynamic emails, and that's a big win for us. So we've worked very closely with Google to develop the offerings that are live right now. And so what we've done is we've made we have 3 or 4 different emails right now are currently available to all Ecwid users to take advantage of this dynamic email content. And what we are seeing from that is we're seeing lift in engagement on these emails, and essentially it is a merchant success move on our part. We're doing this to give our merchants a leg up over any of the competition in any e-commerce platform because we have the best tools available for them to convert people and get their products out there. So we're really excited.
Yeah, this has been fun. So when Google launched this, a couple days ago, I think it was
26th.
Whenever it launched,
we were
ready
much,
to go.
So
okay, yeah,
I believe it was the 26th.
Yeah. You need a vacation. I know you're going
That'd
soon,
be great.
but yeah. So when Google launched this, we'd been working with them for quite some time. So our customers were ready to rock on the day that it launched. And I'll give people a little bit of a rundown of what we currently have, and please go read about it in the blog. It's ecwid.com/blog/ let me get this URL correct, e-commerce-email, so you can check out the examples in person. But one of the first things we launched was an interactive abandoned cart. So we already have built-in abandoned cart recovery emails inside of Ecwid, but they used to be static. So hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, here's the product you had in your cart. You want to buy? Great. But for an example of, like a lot of products might have multiple images. So you can scan through the carousel of the images. You can zoom in. You can play around with the different options inside of that email. So it does make it, it basically gives you a higher conversion rate, which leads to higher sales. So, that is one of the first things out of the box there. And please read more on the blog and see some details on that. But by the way, it's actually active on your account. So if you're using abandoned carts, that's active. The order status. This one I think is kind of interesting because when you buy something from a store, generally you get an email. Thank you for your order. It's basically called an invoice email. It has the details, your address, things like that. It's kind of boring, but okay, great, it went through. And then maybe a couple days later, you get another email that says, hey, your order has shipped, or maybe when the tracking number comes out. So all these, when you make a purchase, usually that leads to like 3 or 4 different emails from a merchant to a consumer. So making this order status interactive means that first initial invoice email, when the order status changed, so it goes from yes, we have your order, to processed or to shipped, Now that's all in that same email. So I think that's a really good use case of interactive email where this all lives in that same email. And it just makes life easier.
Yeah, what I really like about that is, there is email fatigue, right? And so we all kind of scan through our email and say, just make a decision as to what is important or not. And so I find a lot of times that shipping confirmations, order confirmations, those types of emails are making people less engaged with the brand. And so to add more value to a single email, we want to make sure we're doing that at all times. It's really about that end user experience, as Rich mentioned, reducing the friction. And so I do like this because of that. That order status component should be nice. You got one single place where you can go to get an update on your order. We're not, really spamming you with too many emails.
Yep. And I think it might seem a little weird at first. Now, the first year when this happens, people are going to be, like, well, where's my next email? How come you didn't send me an email that says, congratulations, you received your order, right? But it's all going to happen to that email. And I think in 2 or 3 years, this is going to be standard. You're going to get one email from a merchant. And right now we have that out of the box. So it'll take a little bit of time for everybody to catch up on this, but very excited about that. One of the other things that you have active is the one-click email verification. So when you sign up for Ecwid, you get an email that says verify your email, so we don't get into spam trap troubles and things like that. So now this really isn't that big, but when you click on that, you don't need to then go back to your site and log in if you're on another computer and things like that. So it automatically clicks and that information gets sent back to us. I think you're going to see a lot of other people use similar types of technology. I mean, that's not even just in email or not even just in e-commerce. I think you're going to see that across the board. People are going to use this a one-click verification method. So pretty cool to be on the front edge there. And this is what just launched in the past week or so. But I'm probably more excited about where this is going to head because that's first stuff. This is the leading edge. But if everybody kind of sit back and think about all the emails you send and where, for email e-commerce, what are the options? Like Dave, what are you thinking about that's going to come?
Yeah, it is a pretty exciting time. We haven't seen a lot of changes in email over the years, and this is definitely the biggest shakeup. So, and you're right, we are just at the beginning now. I love the initial offerings. I think we're going to really do our merchants a good service by having the best emails out there. But think about the future. I'm hearing rumblings about other potential announcements coming from Microsoft, Yahoo, Mail.ru. Nothing confirmed, but I'm hearing about that. And so right now we're sitting with Gmail, who's a fantastic provider. But if this thing expands, then we can expect that this will take hold in the industry and all of these cutting-edge things that we're doing now will become the norm. But
yeah, if you get all those platforms, you're probably talking like 75% of all emails, and then all the people that don't have it are going to have to implement this as well. Like it's going to force the change.
We're going to cross that chasm essentially.
Yep.
But think about this a little bit more. So right now the applications are a little bit limited, but imagine that you make even more rich in interactive components in the email. Like, why not put a 360-degree rotation spinner to show off like a really cool apparel product or whatever it is? The thing is, I think of email, and I always have, as really a mini version of your own website or final shopping destination. Your website kind of sits where it is, and it waits for people. And email, if it's a mini version of your website, you're allowed to bring your website to other people and show it off. And so that's the exciting piece. So more rich content in there, more interactive content will help. I know we didn't even talk about the drill down capabilities, but those are there. Choose your sizes.
Yeah. I think that's to get people thinking about where email's coming, where it's headed, I guess. I think in the very near future, we're going to see, I think with let's use a t-shirt example because everybody can understand a t-shirt, where if you send a promo to your customers like, hey guys, we have a new design, check it out, and then they want to choose different colors, that picture of that image in an email should change to that color. And that's going to be capable where like, okay, now, yeah, you showed a picture of the blue one, but I want a red one, and going even further besides just showing up pretty pictures, like maybe a t-shirt for extra large is an extra $2. So that will dynamically change inside of the email. or you want to check your shipping, right? Like, so you enter your zip code into the email, and then that shipping price will update automatically. And then, of course, because we're e-commerce here, really what we want to have working in the near future is that buy button, so that there's that will come when people allow it. Yeah,
that is what we're expecting.
And don't quote me on that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Dave was saying, but yeah, when that happens, basically, email e-commerce is kind of a complete full channel where you can do everything inside of an email that you could do on a website. So.
Right. Well, interesting point. And so those of you that are familiar with Ecwid, you have an understanding of what we do. Basically, we allow smaller merchants to sell across the internet and around the world with a single dashboard system that facilitates selling on. You can create your own online store. You can add products to an existing website. You can sell on Instagram. You can sell on Facebook, Amazon, eBay, etc. And now email. So to some degree, email at this point. It's definitely getting there.
Yeah.
But over time, it should be expected that this will develop into a full sales channel in itself. So you wouldn't need to leave the email itself. You could actually do the transaction within it. And that's really one of the benefits of Ecwid is we bring these great opportunities to smaller merchants and allow them to have all of this great sales capabilities from one single dashboard. So it's really exciting times.
Totally agree. Yeah, very exciting where that's kind of always been our mission, is to help small business people, small business merchants, where, because Ecwid has this architecture where it can be placed on many sites. We've already had people have Facebook stores, the Instagram shoppable posts, like all these different things, and now bringing email into it and taking it to another step forward, I think that's awesome. So it's good times.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, to Dave's point earlier, it's been static for so long, and then you'll hear people talking about how email open rates are diving, but no one's going to get rid of their email, right? So it's nice to just pump some new life into it, see what's coming in the future, see what other channels this is going to give life to email again, right?
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. I love being able to let people know on the podcast the new things that are out there, new things that are coming, ways they're going to be implemented in their business, and obviously, specifically Ecwid users, what you're doing to try to help them sell more and build their business. So this is always fun.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I think it's always fun to be on the front edge. We beat several of our competitors on this one, so little pat on the back for all of us here. But yeah, we're just excited to keep bringing new developments in technology to our customers. So so for people that are listening, if you do want to find out more about this, so I'll give you the blog title one more time. It's ecwid.com/blog/e-commerce-email. So you can read all about it there. If you already have a store, this is already active. So, test this out. You're going to see it in Gmails. Google Apps are coming, and then several other email providers are coming right down behind them. So, pretty good stuff. But Rich, Dave, any last thoughts here?
No, I just want people to get started. Go to the blog post, check it out. There's a lot of interesting information and examples that we didn't cover. But you guys need to get back, speaking of change, and change locations, get back to your new office, get dialed in, and get back to work.
Yeah, man, that does not sound like fun there, Rich. But yeah, we got to get back to work.
Come on, every day is fun. This is the best. I enjoy every day.
Awesome.
Anyway, thanks for the opportunity, guys. It's fun to speak about this stuff.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Dave.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. Well, Rich, there's another great show.
And when you add it all together with the other shows, you won't miss any strategies or new tactics on how to grow your online business.
So to make sure you don't miss anything, subscribe on your favorite podcast player. Rich, what player do you like?
Probably Stitcher.
All right.
How about you?
I'm an Apple podcast guy. I'm an Apple guy on that.
Yeah.
And we're growing right now. A listener asked us to add Google Play as a platform. So we just added that a couple weeks ago. We have Spotify, SoundCloud.
Nice. We're everywhere.
So subscribe on your favorite platform, and don't forget to rate and review us.
So we know what you think.
Yeah, rate how we're doing, review on what we have done, tell us topics you'd like us to cover, Tell us if you think we're great and you are going to take over the world.
Subscribe, rate, and review.
It's the only way we'll know, and it keeps the shows coming. Thanks, everybody.